Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to What's She Up To Now, day 1460, documenting the journey as I originally transitioned from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. Started this segment to keep track of what I'm doing as I go about my day-to-day online businesses. But in 2020, with the pandemic and everything, I started to be more diverse in my investing in my business holdings and went back into the real world of business, the physical world of business. So sometimes I share physical business concepts as well as online concepts. There are differences, but there's an awful lot of similarities as well. Good business is good business, whether it's offline or online. The internet has just made a lot of different business functions automatic and easier. It's made life offline easier for people by doing a lot of things that we used to take us a ton of time and energy automatically, having online products and services for accounting, for payroll, for tracking, for documentation, for a lot of regulatory things we can just do through computer systems and software and apps and things nowadays that we couldn't do before, that just make life easier. I mean, I grew up in the day when, you didn't have desktop computers at all in your offices. We did everything by hand. Somebody passed around on LinkedIn the other day in one of these interdepartment memo envelopes, and I just started laughing because I showed it to my kids and they're like, what the heck is that? I'm like, have you guys ever seen one of these? And they're like, no. Well, that's what we used to have. We didn't used to have email, right? If you wanted to communicate with somebody, you had to actually pick up the phone and talk to them, which, luckily we had phones, or you had to type out on a regular typewriter a memo to them. And then, later on in my career, of course, we got computers and things, but I remember using and being one of the first adopters of Lotus 123 and what was it, Word Perfect. I mean, we were so excited when those things became available to us because it made our lives so much easier. And then, since then, email marketing and all these things. And I got out of corporate America and was doing my own businesses and did not, I'm kind of embarrassed to say, I did not embrace the technology that was available at the time, and I wish I had with respect to the internet. I think there's a lot of wait and see, just like whenever there's a new technology. We'll wait and see if this is going to stick, if it's going to pan out. We'll wait and see if Zoom is going to pan out. Well, the pandemic did incredible things for remote work and for allowing people to work from home and things like that. So as bad as there's been things related to the pandemic, there's also been a lot of good things that came out for a lot of people because of the pandemic, things that they never would have done. It's sad, but we don't make any changes or do anything different unless there's a reason to. We get really comfortable. As humans, we like to be comfortable. I am totally on that boat. I realize that comfort is one of those things that actually holds me back from doing the things that I want to do because I want to be comfortable all the time. It's like staying in our comfort zone. We do things all the time, routinely, every day, over and over again, that keep us comfortable. But it isn't until we push the edges of that comfort zone that anything changes. And usually there has to be an outside force that impacts us, that causes us to change. And I used to think I'm just this huge change person, but not really. If I look at it, most of my big changes have been because something outside of me has had an impact on me that's caused me to change and do something differently. So I am now looking for ways to change it and grow on a continuous basis. One of those is the annual challenge. Every year, this is my 5th year now, doing an annual challenge. Some people pick a word of the year. I do a challenge for the year. I pick something and we do something every day to move toward and achieve that thing. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to be done at the end of the year because we're continually improving, evolving beings, right? We want to always be getting better. But this year's is to be yourself and do one thing every day that improves you. And it can be improve you in any way that you choose, but we're also doing a guided thing. So every day I give you something, so you don't have to necessarily think of it yourself. You don't have to do the thing I suggest, but we want to do something every day that helps us to become the version of ourselves, the better, continually improving person that we're here on the planet and that we want to be. So that was today's challenge, was about movement and exercise. And I just shared some ways to find the right exercise for you. Again, we're using ourselves as our own greatest science experiment, testing and choosing and experimenting to find out what feels best for us and what is best for us. Our idiom for Supersize Your Business today was alive and kicking. And I just shared 3 ways three different ways and different things that I like to look at in my businesses that might be different than other people look at. One was employee engagement, the other one was lifetime value of a customer, and then third was reviewing, reaffirming, and rethinking our strategic plan on a regular plan basis, not just creating it once and then going with it for 20 years and not paying attention to what's going on around us. So those were just three things I shared. Another day of training today, learned a lot, and actually I didn't learn anything new. Sometimes we look for, oh, I have to learn something new if I'm going to do a training or participate in something. And other times, I think that's the wrong approach. I think it's why I don't like to read a book over and over again, why I don't like to watch the same movies over and over again. I have this, I want to learn something new. And that's a hard, fast rule that I want to break, because some things we don't get and we don't apply until we hear them over and over and over again. So this is a training I actually took, I don't know, 6 months ago and did. And I chose to participate and do it again because I got and understood and did a little bit of what we learned, but I didn't commit fully to it and do different things. And so this time I'm doing a little bit more and a little bit more. And I'll probably listen to it again in 6 months or a year, or redo the training in a few months or a year, because every time you go through it, you pick more up. Now, the person that I'm in the training with, their style of communication, it drives me crazy, right? It's a lot of marketing and repetitive, and it's the structure you want to use to be a good marketer and communicator, but it's also, to me and my personal communication style, super annoying because it's so repetitive. I mean, they say the same, he says this, it's a he says the same thing over and over again and in different ways, and he uses the rule of, you know, if you say 3 things, then people that are true, the people assume are true, then the 4th thing is true. And he does that over and over and over again. And it's a persuasive tactic, but I almost feel like it's manipulative. Now, to me, there's a fine line between persuading people to do the things that they know are right for them, and manipulating is convincing people to do something that isn't necessarily right for them. And so I listen and I observe, and then I still do what feels right for me. That's what we have to do with everything and everybody we learn anything from, right? What we're learning is just their version of events and their version of the world and their experience with the world and what works for them. It doesn't mean everything they say or do is gospel and that it works for us, right? So doing that today, then I'm going to head out. I'm actually getting out of the house and going to Sam's Club with my sister this afternoon, because we've been cooped up way too much. It's winter cabin fever. Went and saw the ducks yesterday with my granddaughter. That was fun. The ducks and the geese and the swans. That was really fun. There's a little place that stays open on the river here where I live, and so you can go down. And there were literally, I bet there were thousands, or there were definitely hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of geese and ducks and swans. So that was fun to see. But now I want to actually get out where there's people. There were a few people, but not very many. All right. Have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Please ask. Otherwise,